I want to talk to you about foam rolling and why it's important and how it can help you if you do it on a daily basis. So we all get tight muscles, and specifically the fascias of the muscle, which is like the coating of the muscle fibers, like a bunch of muscle fibers. They're coated like, if you think like a sausage, right? So when these get tight, no matter how much stretching we're going to do, we can't properly stretch out. All this is only going to be very short-term results. So what we do then, so we need to then use things such as foam roller and like little trigger balls to release all these areas specifically before we stretch, before we train, before we do any mobility work, right? I'm going to take you through the whole full body for foam rolling, but obviously you can focus on your tighter areas. But if you are running and if you are sitting down all day, there's probably going to be areas that you will always definitely need to do. So if you think of the fascia, so just to give you a better idea of why we need to start from the bottom of your body, is because the fascia starts here in the middle of your foot, and then it runs all the way up to the back of your skull here, and it's all connected. This is why often, let's say, if something hurts or something gets tight, then another area gets tight. So it's all interlinked, okay? It's a fascinating thing. So what we start with first, you're going to release first your feet, okay? And what you do, you can use all like this or that, doesn't really matter which one. And you would just stand up, or you can just be like this, and you massage your foot. This way you're going to put less pressure. If you stand up, it's going to put more pressure, okay? You just roll, and where you want to focus in is more where the more painful areas are. So for me, it's like here, more closer to the inner arch of my foot. That feels really tight. So I will massage it. You might get like shooting pains throughout your leg or in your fingers, but that's all normal sort of thing to happen. So once you've done your both feet, then you can move on to different areas. And then probably best is to use a foam roller. So then I start, so from a lot of walking and running, I get quite calves and Achilles, all this area here. My ankle is quite immobile if I walk a lot or run, because obviously there's a lot more impact going through the foot, so it all gets very tight. And then you might notice your lunges and squats and are not as effective because you can't, it restricts the range of the movement. If your calves are very tight, you won't be able to squat very deep or keep the heel down. Anyway, so what you do, I like to cross my legs and I will foam roll all around here. So all this area here. And you always want to spend up to 30 seconds per area. So let's say if you have a really stiff area, you can do 3 sets of 30 seconds on each area. The tighter ones. The ones that are less tight, you can just go around a few times and then move on. But you're always working from the bottom to the top. Okay? I like to use more this really bit here. These, so I've done, let's say, 30 seconds there. Then I go on my calf, and you do inside of your calf as well as the outside. You might notice the inside of your calf is actually a lot tighter than any other area. So I like to do it like this. I put more pressure. If I want to take less pressure on it, I would just do one leg at a time. Yeah, so you do calves. Then you could move on to your hamstrings. Okay, hamstrings are a funny one. Oh, also important that when you're doing calves, go all the way up to the back of your knee here. You might notice this area is actually a lot tighter. So right here, ooh, like very close to this area here. That's super, super tight, and actually is often the limiting factor of your mobility. So really massage that one out. You could do 2 lots of 30. I specifically feel it more here, out to side. And then you can do the other area. You could do fully all the calf up here and then do the other leg. It's how you do it doesn't really matter, as long as you're working in bits up and up. Okay, so let's say we've done the calves, yeah, 30 seconds on each sort of area. You can go to the back of your hamstrings. So you could do like this, but I never really feel it. So what I like to do is either cross legs here, and then sort of support yourself with the hands, pick yourself up and go more inside and more middle of your calf, all the way up to your bottom. Okay, and then you will do your other leg. So start here here, right? Often I notice for me personally. And also why you want a foam roll is so a lot of you run and you complain about knee pain. That's because all this here gets super tight, your hip flexors get tight, your glute and your glute medius gets tight, and an IT band, which is often through a lot of impact work, and then it pulls on your knee and it hurts because all this gets tight here and it pulls on your knee, and that's why it hurts, okay? Or your adductors, right? So let's say you finish one leg. Ooh. I'm personally more sore towards my bum, yeah? And then we need to work inside of your thigh or your adductor before we go on to the glutes. So here, what you can do, so lay down like this, hips square to the floor, bend your leg and start from the, so this VM muscle here, yeah, vastus medialis, all the way up to your groin. Very important you get all the way up to that groin. That's where you're gonna probably feel most sore. I like to drop my knee a little bit like this, and I get more right in there. And just change slightly that direction. We all are different. You might get some areas tighter than I do. You might not even feel it here. Then that means probably it's not area that you really need to focus on. You focus on areas that make your big bag go like, you know, your breath go. That means you probably need to really work on that area. So let's say you've done 30 seconds here. So if you are more sore here, then focus here. Yeah, so these muscles here, your quadricep muscles, are often sore. So once you've done both sides of the inner thigh, you move on to your quadriceps. If you're very sore in the quadriceps, don't do one leg at a time, do both. You lay down here like so. Go on your forearms. Start right from the top of your kneecaps, not on the kneecaps, but from the top of your kneecaps. Work your way up closer to your hips, hip crease. Again, you can change directions. And you probably will notice your IT band is the most sore one, which runs down here, the one that affects the knee pain. And you can slightly go like this. I would not recommend going all the body weight on like this. It's unbearable. So support with the other leg. You just go sort of side of this quad and then side of this quad. Go all the way up to your hips. Okay. This is always hard. And then I just sort of go back to the top of the knee and again work a few times all the way up until you're starting to feel release. You want to focus on an area when you're starting to it's starting to release a bit. You don't want to just like do 5 seconds and that's it. Actually focus that it's releasing, okay? So once you've done that, you move on to your glute medius, okay? This area, so like piriformis, if you have sciatica, brilliant thing to do every single day. If you get lower back pain, if you get hip pain, anything like that, okay? Lots to do with the tight glutes from sitting down. So weak and tight, weak glutes, tight hip flexors, tight piriformis from running, from any high impact work, as well as from glute training. It's just normal side effect when you train for a long time. So there's a few ways to do it here is, so you bend the leg that you're going to work on. So you can either put it on this leg here. I don't prefer that one. I just prefer to have that on the floor. And then I work all the areas, all the way up to the bony bit here up, where it's sort of your lower back and your glute meets, okay? And you might notice you are super sore, but do keep your leg bent, this one, the one that you're working on, because otherwise, if you have it like that, you won't be able to get properly into the deeper part of the glute. And often, so if you're having back piriformis issues, you will notice it's like the lower part here, and closer to your bone here, you've got quite a sore bit there. Ooh, I found it. And then you just focus on it and breathe. The more pain you experience, the more you need to breathe and really sort of let it go. Don't tense up, okay? Let it go. So again, you would do 30 minutes here. So 30 seconds here. So what I do, because I have very tight these areas, I'll do like 30 seconds here. Then I'll switch the sides, yeah? I'll do 30 seconds all around. Look for any tight bits. Right, so I do 30, then I would go back again, do 30 here, 30 here, up to 3 times, because that's my very, very bad area. Okay, let's say you've done that. Now you're moving on to your lower back. So bridge here, okay, hands here. Make sure you have some tight clothing, otherwise the jumper is going to roll up. But what you do, gently keep your abs engaged, roll here. You might want a little bit bend on one side, so your QL muscle here might be quite tight. Okay, again, support with your hand if you need, if the pressure is too much. Here, then you work on the other side. Okay, and then eventually you will go to the top of your back, and here is a nice release to do. So if you spend a lot of time on a computer every day, it's a great one to do to actually get your thoracic spine, which is the upper part of your back, extending so the chest opens. So this is why often we have like this hunched over position and your chest gets tight because we sit down at the computer or a steering wheel all day, right? So to really open this up, it's a good one here. So hold your hands here, okay? Again, bridge it, so you're using your glutes, your legs to take off the pressure or put more pressure on. And you gently roll over. Open up here. And what you can do here, so I'm getting to the middle of my shoulder blades. I put my glutes down and I do a little bit, sort of rolling over, letting my upper back fold into the foam roller. And then I do a crunch and bring my ribs down. So actually like doing a crunch, okay? And then again. And then you can change area where you do it. So I go a bit lower and I feel, okay, that's my tighter part. Again, if you want to take the weight off, just a little bit, push your hips up, okay? You can control all that. How much pressure you put on, how much weight on with hands and your legs, okay? And then just roll, okay, over the shoulder blades. You change your hand positions. You might notice if your hands aren't here, you're getting some sort of tighter spot. And then another one to get to. So often if you have a problem to extend your arm fully here, you're either very tight in your lats because they go all the way down to your back here. So it would limit for you to be able to extend your elbow, or it comes from the chest, right? So 2 combinations, tight chest and the back, and you can't extend your arm. So getting into your lat, okay? So go here, lay down on your side, and let it roll. If you need support again with your hands, with your arm, get more right in that area there. Woo, that's very crunchy there. Find any spots you can do like this. Okay, I found like a trigger point, and I'm moving more onto it, changing my hand position to see if I can get closer to that trigger point. It might be very difficult for each of you. Ooh, okay. Right, so that's your whole posterior chain. So also how to get closer into your piriformis. Often the issue when you can't feel your abs or you have lower back pain when you're doing abdominals is combination of tight hips, okay, and psoas. So what happens? Psoas muscle is like a continuous muscle of the hip flex, and it goes all the way up to your belly button. It's about 2 inches or 2 fingers away from your belly button. So then what I use, I take a ball like so. I'm going to show you 2 ways how you can release it. So if you're not very confident with this one, but anyone can find it. So if you about go 2 fingers, 2 inches away, bring your navel to one side, you'll find like a stringy bit, okay? So bend both your knees, put the ball in it, and put light pressure on to start with. And you want to sort of go over it. You'll feel it's like a flicking muscle. I always feel like it's referring into my hip and my lower back. That means it is tight, okay? So that's why you often will have the anterior tilt. You'll struggle to keep your lower back down on the floor whilst you're doing your abdominals, or you're actually not going to feel your abdominals when you're doing them. You're going to feel more your hips burning out or your lower back, okay? Just there, massaging. Yeah, always refers right into my lower back. Okay, you don't need to go any lower. You just sort of go over it this way and a little bit horizontal and vertical way. Do 30 seconds one side, then find the other, Okay, got it? Put it on there, light pressure. Sometimes I like to move my leg a little bit with it, but normally this is just fine. Okay? You might straight away feel like it's, oh, my lower back is sort of a little bit aching from it, but that's because you're stimulating something, you're releasing there, okay? Once you've done that, you can do then your stretches on your hip flexors. Another way to get psoas, so you might prefer this one, but then you would need maybe a little bit bigger ball, is you lay down like so. So find again the same area, okay? There. And again, go over it. Sideways. You can bend your leg if that helps. That doesn't really work for me personally. I feel like this way. And it's a nice intestine. You know, just a system massage. But if this is too much, always best is to lay down and then do pressure from the top. Okay, so another way to use these balls, so foam rollers sometimes can't really get into your glutes as well as you would want to. So what I do here, so for my side glute here, for my glute medius, I'll use this ball. And I'll go more like here. So working on that TFL and IT band, because it's like a bundle here, they're all tight up here and it causes this tightness around here. And then obviously we're not really engaging the glutes well, all that kind of stuff. So releasing here this way, yeah, or more specifically with the foam roller. And then last one you could do, so I put the ball under, yeah, and sort of roll around. You can do this also when you did the foam roller seated like we did across. So you could put the ball. So I go here, and then what I'll do, I'll drop this leg out to the side. And then I'll just let, it's like same with like going to the massage, you know when they go in and they try and release. So you just do that yourself. So what I'm doing here, I'm trying to stop my muscle from going into spasm and contract. So breathe out and let the ball sink in. It's a nice release. And then you just, once you feel the release, again, you can find a new spot. So wiggle around. Okay, I found another one. And again, release. Right? And this is how you work around. Okay? And you can do this either in the morning, if you have specifically tight glutes, every time before any leg training, definitely. So then you would do the other side. And how you could do it with the seated variation is here. This one is really good. So again, you would bend the leg that you're working on, and then it gets right in those tight areas. Oh, I feel a lot of flicking here. That's where my tight area is. And I go around like that. But do this after probably you've done a foam roller, so you need to go in gently. So it would be same as like a massage therapist would go straight into your trigger points. It's not good. You have to warm up the muscle, warm up the fascias, you know, and then you go in. Otherwise you can traumatize. You can get actually like bruises and stuff, and this is not what we want. So this one is not to be rushed, but I can't emphasize enough. If you want to improve your performance and how much muscle fibers, how much motor units you're going to use in your training session, the release is very, very important. Especially you have to do them if you sit down a lot all day and before you go in a workout. I know it feels like a lot more work, but honestly, when you know your weaknesses, you know it might take you only like 5 minutes. Then you do your mobility. Also, like I said, in mobility, you can only do the areas that you feel you need to warm up more, where you are more stiff. So if it's an upper body, maybe do a bit more upper body focus, lower body focus, and things like that. And the last one is the chest. Yeah, so here, a lot of people get tight here. So there's 2 ways of doing it. Again, you can take a ball and just massage here, right under the collarbone. You'll notice, oh my God, you can lay down, you can sit, you know, really, really tight. It's a nice massage. And this will help you with any overhead movements, any chest movements, and back exercises, because you're going to be able to open up more. So you're going to do better rows, better chest presses with a larger range of movement, as well as you'll be able to press overhead a lot better because all this being released. And then the other way of doing it, You could go against the wall. Okay, I hope you can still see me. But what you would do, you would put here, like that, and just roll it against the wall. You can control more pressure. And you could then also do, if you have a very tight shoulder here, often, go around here, and then same on the back of the shoulder, okay? I hope all this helps. Watch this, decide, go through the with foam roller first, find your weakest spot, or like the tightest spot, where you need to work on, and do it as much as you can. You got to remember, if you want to get more flexible or mobile, it's same as like when you want to get stronger, when you want to build muscle, it takes repetition. Once or twice a week is not really going to do much, especially if you have already some underlying issues. You've been suffering with lower back pain, you've been suffering with knee pain, tight calves and tight shoulders. You need to do that daily. Sometimes it's actually prioritizing things. So if you already busy and you're like, oh my god, I have to do, you know, my workout then with this, maybe for now, for like a week or two, it's good to cut back on your workouts and work more on your mobility, and then, you know, maybe cut your workouts to the half, and then after those 2 weeks, you'll feel much better, and you're going to be more efficient with your workout. You're not going to go into workouts like feeling like, oh my god, I'm so stiff, everything aches, and it takes me ages to get moving. I personally do this every single morning when I wake up. First thing, I literally lay down on a mat and I do that. So any questions, anything, do let me know. But yeah, have a go. If you don't know where to get this foam roller, it's from Amazon. I'm gonna put a link at the bottom of this video. It will last you forever, honestly. You only need to buy one and you're done. Same as with these balls. You only need to buy them once and you have them forever, and they're great to take with you on the travel when you sit down a lot, and if you need a release, sometimes, you know, on your traps, get on a wall or anything like that. It's absolutely amazing. I know it's maybe seems like a lot, but all these little things up into longevity, healthy, mobile, fit body. We always want to look ahead rather than, you know, just beasting it every day. Okay.